Our committee now has sufficient information to answer many of the critical questions posed by Congress at the outset. We have sufficient information to consider criminal referrals for multiple individuals.
I do think if you tried to guess in advance what surprise action the investigators might have taken at this hearing, you might reasonably have guessed that they would unveil criminal referrals to the Justice Department, recommending that DOJ consider criminal prosecution of some of the people involved in the attempted coup. It was reported in advance of today's hearing that the investigation had assigned the 4 lawyers who were on the committee, Liz Cheney, Zoe Lofgren, Adam Schiff, Jamie Raskin. They'd assigned them to become a sort of lawyers subcommittee to look specifically at that question of whether this investigation should make some kind of formal criminal referral to DOJ. We did get Liz Cheney today saying we have sufficient information to consider criminal referrals for multiple individuals. She said at another point today, this committee may ultimately decide to make a series of criminal referrals to the Justice Department. But that was it. We didn't hear anything further about criminal referrals today from the investigators, and that alone is interesting. That said, on 3 separate occasions today, we got the investigators saying that people lying to the investigation or obstructing the investigation may themselves soon have legal consequences for the people who have done that. And what was particularly unnerving is that they were essentially indicating that the people who have done that may include members of the United States Secret Service.
Much has happened since our last public hearing on July 21st. As the chairman mentioned, we've received new and voluminous documentation from the Secret Service, which we continue to analyze. We've received new witness testimony, including about efforts to obstruct our investigation and conceal key facts.
They'd expressed to me that the president was irate, on the drive up. Mr. Engel did not deny the fact that the president was irate. That, of course, corresponds closely with the testimony you saw this summer from Cassidy Hutchinson, a Metropolitan Police officer who was in the motorcade, and from multiple sources. The committee will be recalling witnesses and conducting further investigative depositions based on that material. And I will also note this. The committee is reviewing testimony regarding potential obstruction on this issue, including testimony about advice given not to tell the committee about this specific topic.
The Secret Service and other agencies knew of the prospect of violence well in advance of the president's speech at the Ellipse. Despite this, certain White House and Secret Service witnesses previously testified that they had received no intelligence about violence that could have potentially threatened any of the protectees on January 6th. Evidence strongly suggests that this testimony is not credible, and the committee is reviewing additional material from the Secret Service and other sources. The Secret Service was monitoring this kind of online activity and was sharing and receiving the results of that effort.
This stuff was also a real surprise in today's hearing, at least it was to me. The investigators saying they have significant new evidence of people trying to obstruct the investigation. Obstructing a lawful congressional investigation is a crime. In the comments from Congressman Schiff and Congressman Pete Aguilar, even more intriguingly, we saw them basically narrow it down to say it's Trump White House officials and also people in the Secret Service who they believe may have lied to the committee and engaged in some kind of organized effort to prevent the committee from getting access to certain information about what happened on the 6th. That seems like both a big deal and an unnerving prospect that elements in the Secret Service, they're not being overtly accused here, but the prospect is being raised here by the investigators that elements in the Secret Service committed crimes to try to derail this investigation.